Welcome back to Speaking Llama, a Survivor podcast. We are so excited to be back with the second castaway voted out of Australian Survivor Titans versus Rebels. Unfortunately, we are talking to you so soon in the season. Jess, how are you doing today?
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me on. Look, today, fine. Relieved in a way that it's done now. Obviously, I've known that this has been coming for a while, so it's kind of good to have the band-aid ripped off. I was stressed watching episode 1 and going, oh my God, what are these bloody edits? How is this coming together? So episode 2, I look, you know, obviously I'm not happy to have gone out, would have loved to have stayed longer, but if I'm going to be sent home as a person who is too truthful for their own good, then there are many worse things.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing to be sent home for if you have to be sent home. So I
Yeah.
love that. Well,
Yeah.
And that's
Jess,
it.
I'm, oh, go
So
ahead.
I
Yeah.
think that some people in these early days, some people in early episodes of Survivor might go home because they're trying to pip off players that they deem as the weakest link. And I thought, well, you know what? If they're going to try to do that to me, I'll at least try to do something and go out in a blaze of glory, because I'd rather that than hide and get to the tribal number 8 and people go, who's Jess? What has she done? What has she said? So I could, yeah. Nathan calls me a troublemaker in episode 1, and I thought, oh, you know what? We are here now. Just ride the wave. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I
Caleb, go
mean,
ahead.
what I'm hearing is that you were just channeling your inner rebel, on the Titans beach.
I
Uh,
did say JLP. So, it doesn't make the final edit, but he does ask us a lot of questions at that start going, who is everyone? And he speaks to me and he says, what makes you a Titan? And I tell him it's all these things that you've already described, but you miss one thing. And it's that I'm a rebel too. And I say that, us Titans, all of us, at least most of us, have had to go against the grain to achieve the amazing things that we have, which also makes us rebels. And a rebel without a cause, on the other hand, the other guys, they're definitely not Titans. But yeah, many Titans were first rebels.
for sure, absolutely. Well, as you went into the game, we're always interested to know what was your strategy heading in, and more importantly, do you feel like you got to play that strategy? Because sometimes things happen and you can't.
Yeah, my strategy going in was, which I didn't achieve. Let's just start this out. I did not. My strategy was like, form really tight social connections, but then just, shut up and don't lead. I am a natural leader, natural person to just get shit done. And as a scientist, my whole job is to find solutions to problems. So I'm often the first to go, what are we doing? How about this? And offering up solutions. So I thought, tone it back, make friends. Anyway, come day 2, I'm like, crap, I don't have my tight friendship group yet. I don't know who those people are. And people at these scrambles are going, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. And I just can't stand that. I'm like, time is ticking. What are we going to do? And I would offer up a solution. And obviously that then puts a target on your head, because you're looking like a person who's willing to put a name out at a time when no one wants to be the person making decisions, but they don't want to be the person going home either.
No, that's good. Well, one thing we are super curious to hear about is how your career prepared you for the show, because Caleb and I actually work at universities here in the States. And so, yeah, so when we saw you on the cast, we were so excited. So, in your career, are there skills or things like that that you were able to bring out on the island while you were there?
Yeah, to be honest, I think a lot of the skills that I thought would be valuable maybe weren't so valuable. As a scientist and a scientific communicator, my whole job and role and responsibility is to be transparent, provide evidence-based information really clearly, find solutions to problems, and to naturally, or to lead sort of projects. With that comes collaboration. And I definitely did try to have collaborative efforts with people out there. I certainly wasn't going into these conversations going, we must do whatever. It was more of a, I think this is why, this is my rationale. What do you think? And trying to gauge where people were at. Another part of my job that maybe didn't land so well is that, I do stand in front of 60 to 200 people at a time and deliver information.
Mm.
And that can be for 40 minutes to 2 hours in different sort of scopes. So naturally, I'm comfortable in sort of being able to do that. And I think in episode 1, Frankie goes, Jessica's a lecturer, but she doesn't need to lecture me. And I go, oh, crap, I really didn't. Like, I watched, I go, oh, what was I thinking? But like that just comes naturally to what I do. So maybe to look back and go, well, you can also lead by listening a little bit more. Would be a lesson that I've learnt. But it's hard when you day to day to be a certain type of person. That's got me so far in my career because that is who I am naturally. To then go, well, those skill sets might have advantages, but also might have disadvantages on an island.
No, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned kind of episode 1. You play a big role. You're part of the big part of the story, at least. Walk us through kind of that feeling right after Tribal Council, realizing your flip of the votes back onto Frankie is successful. Like what's going through your mind at that time?
Yeah. Well, like when I'm watching it and versus being there, different vibes afterwards. Being there, I was like, yeah, got the situation under control. I was definitely under the perception that we'd put Frankie's name out there first, that all of that happened before they caught wind, that's what was happening, and they, Nathan's and Frankie pushed on me. Something that you don't see was maybe that 2 other names were suggested before all of that happened. So, I'm not sure, like, I'm only taking it from my perspective as to what actually happened. But from my perspective, the Frankie vote was pretty solid first. And then I knew that those who were voting with me were getting on board with them going, yeah, now let's get Jess off. So I was very, very confident at Tribal. Of course, they're confident as well. And you just have to trust in those relationships. But I was like 99% sure that I was in control of the situation and walked off. So watching it back though, I was semi-mortified, to be honest, because I was going, oh my God, how have I thought that I've gone, all right, I've got control here. Eden and Mark seemed to think that they were the puppet masters and definitely the influencers. And I knew that they would be the influencers. So I kind of told them what I would like to do. So I'm like, well, I influenced the influencers. So doesn't that call it as you will? I don't know. But yeah, I was mortified in the sense that I was looking back going, oh my gosh, this edit is making me look like someone who's almost a bit antisocial when I'm quite extroverted and bubbly, and someone who's out to target strong women, which is completely like not the ethos or the persona that I'm about. So I was really actually anxious after viewing the episode as to then how the second night would be portrayed, because I'm going, oh my God, that was so not who I am. Obviously, bits have been able to be edited together for that persona, but I'm going, is that me? I was like questioning my whole existence after that episode, my whole personality.
That's a rough last 24 hours then, or 48 hours.
Been a roller coaster. I've gone excited, mortified, anxious, and then after last night, I just felt relief because I was going, you know what? I did get voted out. And that was probably, I felt a true reflection of, for the most part, what happened. Obviously, that episode lacks some context because you can't get absolutely everything in. But I was going, yeah, if I've gone out and I've gone, you know what, I've stood my ground and I've said, this is what I'm doing at this stage. If you're all packing on me, all I've got left is my integrity and I'm going to give it to you. And if you don't value that as someone to take through as a person who's like, or a tribe mate that, you know where they stand, because I'll literally tell you. If you actually want someone who you don't know if they're lying to you, as opposed to that, then that's on you. So I delivered up the options and they made their selection.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm curious too. You said for the first tribal council, you were pretty confident you knew where the votes were going. How did you feel going into that second tribal council? Did you know your name was being thrown out again, or where was your confidence with that?
I wasn't exactly sure, but I knew something was up. When I, again, was pitching and those conversations again started with, well, what does everyone want to do? And I got am I getting because I'm the vote? or because everyone again doesn't want to make a decision. I really didn't know initially. And my conversations about Eden again are open with flexibility and collaboration. And I'm saying to people, like, here is what I think and why, but I'm happy to hear another opinion and get some more perspective. So I went in very open-minded. And what I got back was a lot of, yeah, let's vote Eden out. Hey, more leg room in the heart and all this kind of stuff. And I was going, oh, like, shit, this is easier than I thought. And should have been my red flag being like, easier than you think. That is sus. But, you know, I didn't know that they were so gung-ho to get rid of me. And I go, like, why? What should I do? But until that tribal, and we go in and, you know, they seat me in the middle, which, you know, the seating arrangement says a lot about what's going on. I've gone, does this mean like I'm in the middle because I'm stirring the pot from the middle, like I'm the spoon stirring everyone, or, or because I'm going to be ambushed? And I was bloody ambushed. You know, I think they showed 3 people having a go at me, but it was actually 4. It was actually Viola at the start, and then it goes to Nathan and Charles and Eden, and you know, longer conversations obviously than what's shown. But I was going, holy crap, now I'm in the middle and I'm trying to extinguish all these people, like 2 on the bottom row with me and 2 above me. So my head's bloody flipping around like mad in that tribal council. And it's because I had people coming at me from every direction.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah. Physically, yeah. And metaphorically.
Yeah. And I knew that they, you know, I was probably going to have my name thrown out there, but the way it was packed on was, you know, I was getting accused by Viola for putting her name out there. I'm like, never done, no evidence. And, you know, that's why it's not shown. It literally never happened, but those lies were fed to her. Nathan then packs on me about Frankie, and I'm like, well, yeah, but like, also you already knew that. Like, you're not an oracle. Those votes did not come on me for like, don't act dumb now. Charles then has a go at me about voting and putting his name again. I was like, what the hell? Like, where is this all coming from? And then, yeah, Eden says, but you put it on me. And I'm, well, yeah, I did. And I thought I'd gone so hard with truth telling to Viola that I had to keep it up after that point. So I'm like, no, yes, shit. Where am I? Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate, right, digging in, right? At some point, you got to say, this is the bed that I've made. I'm going to lie in it, and we'll see where it falls. We saw, you know, these kind of nuanced relationships. You know, you were working with them, they flipped on you. We always like to also ask, right? You're a couple days into the game. You don't have a lot of interaction with the Rebels tribe, but is there anyone else that you would have liked to have worked with on the Rebels tribe? Rather than the Titans.
Yeah, so I was immediately taken to Eileen, and so I think it's also because we kind of always would stand in similar spots, and she was always next to me, so we'd flick each other these cheeky little smiles and Jonathan said anything. So I immediately thought, if she stays, I reckon we'll work together, because we just like have these little laughs. But yeah, like over there, they were just a big mystery. And, you know, you could see the boys in the Titans going, oh, I can't wait to work with Alex and all these people. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to work with the girls. So I was immediately taken to Kirby, to Ree, and Eileen probably the most, going, oh, I'm just intrigued. And I feel like, you know, we're people that potentially will get along. So yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, never got to share a hut with them.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we were curious about too, that immunity challenge in episode 2 was very intense, but in particular that tunnel where you had to spin around. You know, what was the strategy behind that? I mean, how did y'all do that? Because that looked very difficult from the TV.
I was really grateful, actually, that they'd made it over that barrier first, because Eileen goes in first for them and is flailing about in every direction. And they had said to me, oh, Jess, you're going to go first. And I was going, oh, what? I don't know what I'm doing. You look like a dead fish, or half dead fish caught in a net, basically, like half flopping. And I was looking at her and going, she's not doing it right. What am I going to learn from this? So it was, quickly trying to go, what direction, what's the best way? And I can get claustrophobic. So as soon as I went into that tunnel, I just split that net as far as I bloody could, and it tightens up right at the top. And it was actually the best way of getting through it, because once you've tightened it, it's easier to unroll. Whereas some people try and roll the moment they got in, and you're not getting anywhere. So I think that's where the Titans kind of catch up, because I burst through that bloody thing to get me the heck out of here. And then we realized, pull it tight and then spin, and that will get you out.
Yeah, y'all definitely caught up. I thought that was really impressive how quickly y'all went through that. So one of the other things that we always ask every time we get to talk to a player, you've alluded to it several times, we see a very small fraction of everything that happens out there. And so was there any particular moment or memory for you that wasn't shown on screen that you'd want to share?
Yeah, it's obviously they can't fit it all in. It's got, they've got 90 minutes, 2 days, 3 days. But I was surprised at how much the order of things sometimes changes. Definitely it's fun. I think I come across as a person who just luckily got to the end on Eden and Mark's decision making. And as I said before, I felt like I had a lot more influence than that comes across in that. Then, in the second, it's more about collaboration. I do think, again, it looks like, I've told people what to do or what I'm doing. And I did go in going, open conversations, what do you want? But, you can't show the whole conversation that's there. Something, that doesn't really make it is, the beef with the two Vs, Val and Viola, with Nathan around that episode too. So their names were definitely put out there in the first one, and then sort of end up switching to me. Now, whether or not that was always the plan to have it on me, and maybe they're just two names as a cover, or whether it was the plan from the get-go, we'll never know now. We've never seen it. But that's why that didn't make last night's tribal as well, because it wouldn't have had context for the viewers. So when before Nathan asked me about Frankie, there is this heated discussion, and Viola turns to me. She scared the shit out of me, and this is where I was still a bit naive to what was going on at the last tribal. And she turns to me with so much anger in her eyes, like literal fire, and she's like, "You put votes on me, you're a hypocrite," or something like that. And I was going, what? What are you talking about? And then it unravels that it might have come from Nathan, and he's asked to explain himself by Val, and he's going, "Oh, I don't remember." And she goes, "Oh, that's convenient. You don't remember." Just able to articulate the moment she's had every conversation, and you just don't remember. So that doesn't make it, because obviously you can't show the whole tribal, but it does set the scene as to why I think I'm on this honesty streak the moment I start speaking to Nathan, because I couldn't undo this, what I started.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Jess, thank you so much for your time today and the context and everything surrounding your gameplay. You were such a fun player to watch these first few episodes. And then we actually, we did a fantasy draft with Simon from Australian Survivor, and you were one of his very first picks. So we are sad to see you go. I think he is worse. But again, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I think after episode 1, he was like, "What are you doing? Lay low. Like, you're ruining this for me. What happens next?"
Oh, amazing. Well, Jess, thank you again, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. See you later.